4, 3, 2.
Maybe we're live. Maybe.
I think we are live, and I think it starts with you saying maybe we're live.
It starts with an ad. It starts with an ad on the YouTube
Wait,
player.
what?
I got an ad and it played and everybody heard it.
Oh, well, you know.
Oh, we're drinking coffee.
You want to wait for them to get out of the ad before we start talking?
No, they got 5 seconds skip. It's fine.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, no, I'm drinking coffee. I asked you, and you refused to answer until we went live. How was your pour?
It was good. I've been, I got a light roast this time from Trade. So what I've been doing is I've been purposely pulling it for really long so that there's more flavor in it. And it was pretty good. Came out pretty good.
I have set my machine perfectly, and I poured the grinds, and I was 0.5 grams short. But we were running late. So I was like, screw it. That's probably fine. And it poured for like 20 seconds longer than it was supposed to. It was like so little a difference.
I actually forgot I spilled the beans. I was in such a hurry that I pressed it. You know, I tamped it. And then I saw there was like some grounds like rolling around. And I was like, oh, I went to dip it out and all of it fell out. I don't know what I was thinking. It was a rookie move. We'll be talking about Trade later.
We'll come back to
Come back to it. We're not starting with it.
Today's going to be a big day, actually. We're going to have a tough time fitting it all into an hour, I think, because we have several showcases and events to go over and look at with brand new games. And if you're a Nontendo fan, and by that I mean a fan of anything but Nintendo, non-Nintendo fan, this might be your day, because we just had E3 2023. And a lot of you might be thinking, wait, no, we didn't. That was canceled. Yeah, but the big glomeration, what's the word? Conglomeration?
Collaboration. What are you trying to, what is the, finish the sentence.
It's not under one roof anymore. Now we've just got these separate events just winging it.
I'd call it a collaboration.
A collaboration.
It's a collaboration between Jeff Keighley and every game company out there, because every game company used to be a conglomerate.
That's the word, my God.
Figure it out. It used to be a conglomerate under the ESA, which put on E3.
Right.
All of these companies realized the ESA was squeezing a lot of money out of us, and we really don't need them. We can do this all by ourselves. And then Jeff Keighley was like, but I can help you do it, and I won't ask for as much money. And then all the game companies were like, okay. And here we are with Summer Games Fest, baby.
The Sony State of Play we had, the Xbox Showcase, Ubisoft, all of that. But all of those aren't part of Summer Game Fest, right? Summer Game Fest is its own isolated thing that kind of kicks off this season of like, let's do some showcases.
So it's the same thing as E3, where Xbox Showcase wasn't a part of E3. It was just at the time of E3 and across the street. So Summer Games Fest is like, at the same time, we will also announce a bunch of games and we'll host like the Xbox stream or whatever. And Xbox is like, fine, Jeff, you can do whatever you want. We're just going to do our thing.
I'm just glad that you're not getting doxxed anymore. That's all I care about.
Kelly Grubb in the chat says amalgamation. That was also a good word.
Amalgamation.
That's also a good word.
That's another good word.
Vocab here today.
And speaking of chat, we are live again. Before we get stuck into it too much here, we didn't get together and do an episode because Bob, you little gambler, you little pissing money away on the slots looking boy over there.
I lost a lot of money.
Where have you been the last week or so?
I was in Vegas. It was very good. I had a very good time.
How long were you there for? Like a week?
Yeah, from Monday to Friday. It was very good. We had a lot of food. It was awesome. Yeah,
no, I've said this a bunch. I don't know about here, but one of my favorite ever holidays or vacations to go on was I went to Reno a couple of times.
Reno?
Yeah. Which it's obviously not Vegas, but it's actually a lot of fun. I've never been to Vegas, but Reno it's like a mini Vegas. They have a whole strip as well. It's kind of cute. But the thing I like about it is like the big casino vibe. You get a hotel room in a casino.
And the whorehouses.
And you spend
that's where the whorehouses are.
I'm blowing past that. You spend a weekend in a casino, and the more you gamble, the more points you get at the casino to spend on like food and dinners and bonus hotels and massages and the gift shop. And yeah, if you spend some time there, you get a bunch of free stuff. But it's like a whole vibe, right? And free drinks the whole time as long as you're gambling.
Yeah, I've never been to Reno. So I don't know what that's like.
It's the same thing. It's a casino. A casino's a casino.
I don't get any free nothing. I don't gamble enough. Well, we just eat all the food. It's good food.
Here's the thing that we did. We went, and my friend's dad took us, and he's big on the craps. Like, he's really good at playing craps. He's
Yeah,
like
I don't play. I want to play craps. I never play.
He's
craps.
one of those brilliant minds that kind of reads the table. So when we go, we put a few $100 down on the table, but we make money back almost as much as we lose it. So we stand there for like an hour, 2 hours playing craps, and we go up, we go down, we go up. But that whole time, you're spending money at the table. So you start with 300, but you end up putting in like 1,000, 2,000 with your winnings and everything. Mm-hmm. And that all counts to points that you can then use to go get the fancy meals and the spas because you're spending money at the table. You get what I'm saying?
No, I understand. I play mostly blackjack and roulette. Just because it's the only ones I really know anything about. And they just announced that they're basically lowering the odds that you'll win anything in those games. They're changing they're changing blackjack so that if you get blackjack, you make less money back. And they're changing roulette so that instead of a 0 and a 00, there's also a 000. So there's more of a chance that you will lose money.
Why would they do that?
Because they can get away with it.
That's so shady.
Yeah. No. Sorry, gambling is horrible. Gambling is horrible. Don't do it. But it's fun. Sometimes doing things that are not good are fun.
Here's what I don't gamble really ever, but the thing that I live by when I do very rarely is never gamble more than you're willing to lose.
No. And I've been doing this for years, and you put aside some money and you say, this is what I'm not coming home with. Yeah. This is gone. Uh-huh. So then you end up, excited when at the end of the week you go, oh wait, I still have this.
Yeah, and as long as you were like, you spent that money to be there for the weekend, getting all the fancy food and everything, it makes sense. Just quickly, we had a super chat from Rev. First time I managed to catch a live, wanted to show a little support to the show, help me survive college commutes. Thank you so much, Rev.
Oh my God, thank you.
All right, do you want to talk about the Nintendo situation first, or like at the end?
What is the Nintendo situation?
How we haven't had a direct in forever, and we don't really have anything in the pipeline. And I guess because there's no E3 this year, they kind of just took it as an out, because usually they at least try and show up for E3, right? Because they're kind of pressured to.
Next week we're getting one.
Okay. There was actually I know you don't know. There was a leak. I shouldn't even call it that. Somebody literally went into their Microsoft Word and typed up a fake direct and then took a blurry photo of it and posted it online, and it got hundreds of thousands of likes. And then they had to comment on it and be like, I'm sorry, I thought it was obvious that this was fake.
Yeah, so people... I did hear that there's rumors, but that's because it's E3 week. Like, this is when E3 was supposed to happen, so all of the game companies had all of their stuff ready to go, and then E3 dissolved itself, and all the game companies were like, okay, we'll just release our stuff anyway. And by all the game companies, I mean Xbox, Capcom, and Ubisoft. And PlayStation did theirs 3 weeks ago, which was shocking. Like, usually they wanted
to get ahead of it.
Yeah, usually they would take a little extra time to make sure everything's good, but they were like, screw it, we got everything together.
There was a strategy there too, because then at Summer Game Fest they ended Jeff Keighley's event with a look at the new Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, whatever, which is obviously one of Sony's prized franchises and games, and they held off on that too. They gave it to Summer Games Fest, which
they also gave Summer Games Fest the date for Spider-Man 2.
Oh,
The release date wasn't in the PlayStation Showcase, which was their big game in the PlayStation Showcase, and they were like, Jeff, you can have the release date.
I like Jeff, and I am glad that he's getting. I'm allowed to like him, right? He's not like problematic, is he?
No, I like him a lot, and I really like the Game Awards, even though it's cringe a lot of the time. I think that's part of the charm.
I've really come around on the Game Awards, but that's because I feel like Jeff is actually really great at listening to questions, comments, concerns, and feedback on his events and improving them for the next year. Like a couple years back, or even a few years back, they were pretty rough where they would blast through awards. They didn't really take any time on them. I remember I made a whole video about the problem with Game Awards, and one of my problems was they would do like best music, but then they wouldn't showcase any of the music. They would just give an award for it, or like best performance, and then they would just give an award, but they wouldn't show any of the performances. And I'm like, for people who haven't played these games, they don't know what they want an award for. Like, showcase the performance at least. And now he's doing things like that, and it's making it feel more legitimate. So yeah, I like him, and I like the Game Awards. They've come a long way. Also, way less ad-riddled now than they used to be.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what, you mean the Game Awards are less ad-riddled?
The Game Awards a few years back, they would play like a series of ads every like 5 minutes, and then each category was like best performance sponsored by Subway.
Well, now now Twitch won't let you. This year Twitch won't let them bake in ads. I wonder how that's going to go.
That's true.
Because they have to pay for the event. Jeff Keighley's pretty much doing this out of pocket, I don't think the game companies are paying him to put the trailers. I think he's asking the game companies, please put trailers in so people will watch,
Yeah, it's got to be tough to balance that and not upset people. I've been looking at rumors for the new Direct, because I've heard a lot of rumors, but it looks like they're all like super weak. I think it's all just we're around E3 time and we know nothing about what's happening in the Nintendo space. But if I was to take a stab, I think we will get one at least by the end of July. I feel like we have to.
Yeah, I think that now is a perfect time. It makes a lot of sense. But also, there's a possibility Nintendo just doesn't do anything, because I don't think they really have much. Even if they have a Direct, I think that it might be a half-assed Direct.
Yeah, I agree. I also think they can sit comfortably for at least a couple months on the back of Zelda. I mean, like, let's let it breathe. I mean, they just released one of, if not the best game of all time. I think they're allowed some space here.
And we both think that they got a new hardware on the horizon, and that will be the next big announcement. They'll probably wait for all of these announcements to cool off, and then they'll be like, hey guys, we're still here, and here's your next thing that you're going to sink a lot of time into.
What else do we have from them this year? We got Pikmin.
That's it.
We got Pikmin.
That's literally
period.
it.
I think there's one more thing, no? Chat, help me out here. Isn't there one more like Nintendo IP coming this year? I'm blanking on it.
But I really don't think there is.
I have a feeling. Maybe I'm just thinking DLC. Hearing something about Metroid Prime would be nice, but all right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's that. I mean, I feel like Nintendo took the easy street. They weren't pressured into putting on an event because it wasn't official E3, and no one was really like, pressuring them to do something, so they didn't.
I think they were the first ones to pull out of E3, so maybe they really don't have anything.
I don't know, because sometimes they put on events where they don't have anything.
The chat just blew up with 1-2 Switch, or Everybody Switch, whatever it's called, which comes out in like that's 2 weeks.
1-2 Everybody. We should probably quickly talk about that. That actually got announced right after last week. Or was it? I think it was it was after we did the live episode in the studio. It was when I was driving home. They announced it while I was driving home after we had just shot the live. It was like 9 p.m. at night.
I think we knew it was coming out, but we didn't know much about it. And then they dropped like the trailer and all of the graphics and the date and everything like 1 month out.
Let's talk about that real quick. I mean, we kind of have to. While you're bringing... Okay, you already have. I want to quickly say Judah with a $20 super chat. Thank you. Similar to Rev, uni student who rarely gets a chance to catch these lives, tuning in from Australia. Love the show. Thank you, Judah. I appreciate it. All right, so a sequel to the game that nobody even wanted in the first place? I know. I think I tweeted that guy out. What is that face, my guy? Can we get a zoom in on that?
That paint is that face is getting his money's worth. Central Casting really turned out today.
That I love it so much. I don't understand. We don't have any gameplay.
This poor guy.
If you're listening to the audio, you've got to come to the video and see this, but you can also go to the game on the website. It's the guy on the right holding the controller like a horse. The suspenders sell this really.
Like a horse? Yeah, I guess so.
Like he's riding a horse.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is. I think he's riding a horse.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think we've seen gameplay of this. Maybe I'm wrong, but if you go back to the first image, so you've got half the people holding it like a horse, and there is a horse in the friggin' thumbnail, and then the other half are holding a phone above their head, which I don't know what this is.
Everybody 1-2. It's a sequel to 1-2 Switch.
Right, but it can't be like the first game. Not really. It's got to be reimagined, because if you can play on a phone like a Jackbox situation, which I'm guessing, because it's called Everybody.
I didn't see that.
It's called Everybody 1-2 Switch. And you know how, like, when you play Jackbox, everyone can join in. You can have, like, 65 people playing over the internet.
Yeah.
This gives me that vibes, and you can play on your phone. But if you can play on your phone, surely you can't have the same level of interactivity as a Joy-Con.
So this phone says, press the button repeatedly. Go.
Yeah. So
it's like a real-time thing. It's not like a Jackbox. I mean, Jackbox, you like write an answer, and it looks like you're actually going to control something.
I think it's going to be like a hybrid, because you have 1-2 Switch where everyone was playing mini games in real time, and then you have Jackbox where you kind of have time and everyone's on a phone. It's got to be like a weird hybrid where you play games on your phone with people playing on. So I don't know. Maybe you can have 6 people in a room, 100 people online. I don't.
So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people with Joy-Cons, and then the horse. And then there's 5 people with phones, and then the horse.
So at least 11.
Yeah, I guess.
I think it's going to be very different to the first game.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, everyone was pretty salty on 1. There is no gameplay, by the way. I tried to. There's nothing. There's just people. There's just YouTubers coming up with ideas of what it could be.
Well, that's what we're doing right now.
Kid and Krista Game Explain. AJ,
people were we love him. We're salty about the first game because it was $60 and not a pack-in game when it should have been at most $20.
Absolutely should have been a pack-in game. I think people would have liked it a lot more if it just came with the Switch.
Now,
it also would have showed off the Joy-Con, because the HD Rumble and the Joy-Con was completely underutilized. The only game that used it that actually was impressive was 1-2 Switch.
Yeah, such a mistake. I don't know what they were thinking there, but it begs a question, because 1-2 Switch is still $50. This sequel's coming out for $30. Is 1-2 Switch gonna drop in price, or is it still gonna be an outrageous $50?
Is it $50 right now?
Can you imagine?
It's frequently on sale. 1-2 Switch.
Can you imagine how many parents, kids, grandmas, little Timmies and Jimmies over the last 6 years?
Oh my God, it's $50.
Have bought 1-2 Switch for $50 and been burned on it. Like, imagine getting it digital.
I think the year it came out, it was $30. Like, I saw it at Best Buy, right next to Bomberman R.
Drop. Yeah, it did a big price drop, but then it's held $50 ever since.
That's so unfortunate. I was playing Astro's Playroom yesterday. Remember that game for PlayStation 5?
Yeah, no, I love that game.
And that game shows off the HD Rumble.
Yesterday,
I was making a video on the remote play. It shows off the Rumble and all of the features of the PlayStation 5 controller so well. And I remember when I first got the PlayStation 5, I was like, this isn't impressive. The Switch does all of this. The Switch has the same HD Rumble. It feels exactly the same. But now with hindsight, PlayStation used it way more. And they were better for it. And Switch, Nintendo was like, I guess nobody uses the Joy-Con. People use Pro Controllers. We don't want to, we want everybody to have the same experience. We just won't put HD Rumble in any of our games.
You're right. I I've been playing a lot of PlayStation again lately. I dived back into Returnal co-op, and I forgot how good some of the features are in that game.
Returnal really uses the adaptive triggers.
Adaptive trigger. Yeah, it does. To explain what it does, if you have a certain gun and you hold it down a little bit, you'll get like a scoped fire. If you hold it down more, it switches to an alternative fire mode. So it literally changes the way the gun acts with like a half press or a full press. And they still utilize that in their games. You're right. And Nintendo have completely dropped it. I actually, I'm not a huge fan of Rumble, especially when I'm like playing at night in bed. The HD Rumble is really loud, and I feel like I don't want to bother Kim. So I actually turned off Rumble on my Switch like several years ago because of that, and I just got used to it and never turned it back on. So I've been playing my Switch without Rumble this whole time. But I turned it back on for Breath of the Wild because I wanted to review it and see how the Rumble acts in the game, and I don't even notice it. Like, it doesn't do anything. Like, there's like no...
Yeah, there's no...
And that's like a flagship game. Like, where is the interactivity with the Joy-Cons? I mean, you can't... I mean, this is Nintendo. I don't want it, but why can't I, like, do, like, a bow thing with the bow, or like you know, there's nothing.
You should feel something. Like 1-2 Switch did such a good job of letting you feel like something physical in your hand. Like when I first demoed the Switch, I had little balls rolling around in the Joy-Con, and it blew my mind.
In my hand.
So why doesn't any other game have anything even close to that?
Yeah,
I want more balls rolling around in my Switch.
Balls rolling around in my hand. No, I can't. I don't know. It makes no sense. Nintendo are like kings of also putting weird features into their consoles and controllers and then never using them. And this time around, I know it's a expired conversation, but the IR reader, like, what the heck were they thinking?
Joy-Cons cost for a pair, it's like $80, right? And there's so much tech in there that's completely useless.
If you had taken out that IR reader, you probably could have at least shaved $5 off the price of those things.
Yeah, it's
what?
It's unfortunate. And I don't want to give like PlayStation too much credit. I think there's a lot of useless features in that also.
I feel like they try though.
Yeah, at least they're using what they have, you know, more than Nintendo is.
We're on a tangent.
We're on a tangent. There's so many games we have to talk. We won't talk about every single game. Let's just go through what we think is the most important ones.
Yes.
Or
do you want to start
with a little word from our sponsor?
I'd love to.
Because we're about time to do that.
Trade coffee.
Oh, Trade coffee.
Oh, Trade. Let me put it back. I didn't even take a sip just then because I got to bring up. Oh, Trade coffee.
Oh, yeah. Here we are today. Oh, shut up. Today we're doing Blueprint coffee is what I got in my bean hopper. This is Cerro d'Atanli. I don't know. It's a light roast that I've been
Italian. Try and pronounce an Italian word. There you have
baby.
It.
I did so bad in Italian class. We talked about this. It's a light roast, and I make espresso, so I've been pulling it for like 32 seconds ish, and it's been good. And I'm at the end of my beans, so I got another one coming like tomorrow, I think.
Funny there was a place people could get those beans. Like, I don't know, Trade coffee. If you've been getting your coffee from the grocery store and drinking the same coffee every day, you need to try something even better. Trade coffee. That's what they wrote. I'm going to tell you right now, when you go to the store and you grab a bag of beans off the shelf, they're dried, they're old, you don't know when they were roasted, there's no date on them, they've been shipped in huge batches all around the country. When you order coffee from Trade, it's roasted, fresh, just days before it's sent out, sometimes a day before it's sent out. And then you get the beans straight to your door within a couple of days. They're nice, they're glistening, they're wet, they're juicy, which means they're fresh. I always compare it to a frozen meal as opposed to a fresh cooked meal. I mean, what do you want from me? It's a coffee subscription service that partners with 55 plus of the nation's top rated independent roasters, offering coffee from 55 plus top indie roasters. Did I read that wrong? Or delivering fresh to your doorstep and on your own schedule. Bob, I love that. That is gorgeous.
Yeah,
Thank you
man.
So much.
No problem,
let me reread that in my own words because I kind of butchered that. I think it's a subscription service, and there's over 55 indie roasters that you can get beans from, and they deliver straight to your door. Trade Coffee is a subscription service that makes it so simple to discover new coffees and make your best cup of coffee every day at home. Yeah, Bob and I get beans too, and we grind them ourselves. We grind them up. We're big on grinder, and we make our own coffee. But you can also get pre-ground if you want to just throw it into a coffee pot, which is still just as good. When I got into coffee, I used a coffee pot all the time, and sometimes I miss it. I might actually get a coffee pot again pretty soon.
Yeah, you could do that. You could switch back and forth. The beauty of espresso is that you could just use any beans. Sometimes they'll like label coffee for espresso, but it doesn't matter. You can use whatever you want.
Whether you already know what you like or you're new to specialty coffee or need some help, Trade's matching algorithm curates coffee perfectly for you. Trade makes it easy and convenient to discover new coffees. Yeah, when I pumped in everything that I liked, it started recommending me a lot of coffee with hints of fruit and chocolate, which it nailed me, I got to tell you. Upgrade your morning routine with better coffee. Right now, Trade is offering our viewers a free bag of coffee with any subscription at drinktrade.com/Nontendo. That's drinktrade.com/Nontendo for a free bag of coffee with any subscription purchase. I also want to show you my coffee. I was going to show you the coffee I was just sent, but I'm back on caffeine. And I have downed that bag quicker than you can imagine, and it is gone. But here are the decaf coffees I got before I've
had Pete's coffee. That one's good.
Yeah, I actually have not had either of these because I got the caffeinated one that I've been drinking that. But yeah, it's good stuff. I highly recommend it.
And you can like change your. So I'm out of coffee now. This is the end of my coffee, and I got another one coming tomorrow. I didn't even have to do anything. And you can change like all your like preferences and stuff. Like would change from decaf to regular, and you just click a button on the website and it just does everything for you.
And your next one. And sometimes you can go in and see what bag they're going to send you next. And if you don't want it, you can switch to whatever one you want to try, which is nice. Sometimes I get a little curious and I do that.
So it's drinktrade.com/Nontendo. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It actually does directly support the show. And they are probably our most reoccurring and supportive sponsor. So.
They're also the one we use the most.
It's coffee.
Like I used it before we were ever even sponsored by it.
We both went and made Trade coffee before this, and I didn't even realize we had Trade today.
Yep.
All right, cool. Bye.
Summer Games Fest. Let's talk about it. First game that's on this list. It's we're looking at an article by Inverse.
Have a wacky list.
This is Prince of Persia.
Yeah,
I
have a lot to say.
Okay, good. Are you a Prince of Persia fan? An old school Prince of Persia fan? Okay.
Like legit, I've played every Prince of Persia in the
So is my
series.
brother, and I thought he was gonna be very upset about this. But
no, it's weird. As a Prince of Persia fan, this is actually looking pretty sick. I have a lot to say. Do you want to go first?
I want to hear what you have to say. I'm not that big into Prince of Persia. I'm a big fan of 2D side scrollers, so I'm into this.
So
do you want me to play the trailers? Do you think we're gonna get dinged?
No, I don't think so. Not in this little window like this. We should be fine.
Okay.
I hope so. Now I'm scared. It should be fine. I don't know.
We can put a big blur.
So I actually brought up a list of Prince of Persia games here for everyone to have reference on my history. So I actually never played the 2Ds. I started with Warrior Within, which I love that game. Then I went back and played Sands of Time. I've played Two Thrones. I liked whatever one it was where they did a big reboot of it all, and it was more open worldy. I don't know which one that. I think it was just called. It was self-titled, just Prince of Persia. They kind of did like a bit of a reboot. I played Forgotten Sands, and I didn't really like that one. So Prince of Persia has been kind of quiet for almost 20 years, and then we got a look at a Prince of Persia game, a remake, of Sands of Time, which still hasn't come out, and I'm excited.
I didn't know Sands of Time. I didn't know there were games before Sands of Time.
The original 2D ones, and the ones on like it was on like DOS or something. It was on Apple II was the first one.
I heard they were not great.
They were a little boring, but for that time they might have been more medium. But this new game, sorry to get a little distracted. This new game is another reboot, and it's gone back to a side scroller, but it's kind of giving me. I think it's a Metroidvania now, right? And it's giving me almost the new Metroid vibes, Metroid Dread.
The article says Metroidvania elements.
Yeah, the way they were explaining it in the gameplay trailer, it was like a little bit open worldy in a sense, where you can
Really?
kind of go. Yeah, it was given the way they were explaining it sounded very Hollow Knight adjacent. I doubt it would be that fleshed out. Um, but yeah, that they were definitely like setting it up to sound kind of Hollow Knighty, if not inspired by Hollow Knight.
Interesting. So
But
I'm very interested in this type of gameplay. I think the trailer isn't that great because it cuts back and forth between cinematics that look like they could be gameplay, but probably aren't because it's a side-scrolling game.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, people have been wanting a new Prince of Persia game, and now they're relegated to a 2D game. But
Well, yeah.
everybody online was saying this is developed by the people who made Rayman, the Rayman Origins and Legends, and one of the tweets I saw was like, these guys only develop bangers, so why is everybody upset? This is going to be great. And it's like, just because they made bangers before doesn't mean this one's going to be a banger. But it's probably going to be good. I don't know if it's going to be a good Prince of Persia game, because again, I've never played a Prince of Persia game, but I'm interested in this. It looks good.
Yeah, it looks really good. I had mixed emotions on it initially because it does look like they've just made a new game and they've slapped Prince of Persia in the title. Like it honestly looks like it could just be a new IP, and I think them calling it Prince of Persia is a cash grab, which was my immediate reaction. But then the more I saw of it, the more I was like, well, the game looks sick. So like, I don't really see it as a Prince of Persia. To me, it's not a Prince of Persia. Nothing about this screams the Prince of Persia I love. It's a new character. It's a new style. It's a new art style. Even the logo looks like it's the Cyberpunk 2077 font. Like, nothing about it is screaming Prince of Persia to me.
Prince of Persia, I think of like the rewind ability. Is that wrong?
Yeah, and no, 100%. And when I was watching it initially, I was like, have they even got the Sands of Time, which is what that is called? And they do, actually. They talk about it, and that's what makes the gameplay look so sick, is you can rewind back to a previous point, and if you go back to the trailer, maybe near the end, it might show you. But he was like doing some attacking on one side facing the enemy, and then he'd hit the Sands of Time ability and zip behind to where he was before and start attacking from behind. And there was a lot of like, there was even parts in a different gameplay trailer where there was like 3 of him, and 2 were like echoes, so it looked like some of the platforming puzzles you can use the Sands of Time to like be somewhere and do something while being somewhere else, and then, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You ever play Super Time Force?
No.
That was a 2D game that had all these cool time abilities. That was really good. That came out like 10 years ago. Anyway.
Well, I might play it. There was also platforming parts that they were using the time skip on. I don't know if this has any of it. I'm looking at the trailer we have on the screen to see.
Yeah, I don't see anything in this trailer.
No, he's not doing it right here. Do you want me to find it, or are you just going to take my word for it?
Well, you know what? We're going to go to the Ubisoft event, and I think that's a different trailer, so we might end up seeing it later. Let's blast through these. I just want to summarize it by saying it's not Prince of Persia to me, but I think it looks sick, and I'm excited for it. Okay. Next is Mortal Kombat 1. Do we really need to say anything about it? There's a lot of blood and people's faces getting ripped off.
I will say that I'm not a big Mortal Kombat fan, but while watching the gameplay, I was actually kind of swung on it. I was like, okay, this is cool. And the one thing that kind of impressed me is just, you know, games as we get older, the way they innovate in weird ways. So fighting games, you know, you load in, you pick your fighter, and then you see versus, right? And then it loads into the game, usually separately. The trailer for this, the gameplay trailer, you pick your fighter, and then it seamlessly goes into them walking together and looking at each other, and then seamlessly they step backwards and you're in the fight. So there's like no load screens between the character selection screen and the fight begin. It is all seamless.
Yeah.
And that was a small thing that I thought was really cool growing up with fighting games.
They've done a really good job. The last couple of Mortal Kombat games that they've been very graphically impressive. They got it to run on Switch. They had like really innovative net code for a fighting game. People were like using, I think, Mortal Kombat 9 as like the gold standard of how fighting games should do online. But I think this game is like 100 GB download or something.
Oh my god, why is this
ridiculous? I don't know. It's probably gonna be good. The big new feature is the cameo feature, where you can do like a Marvel vs. Capcom type thing, where another character can like come in and kick them in the face, and then you can like do a combo.
But it looked a little bit more in depth than that too. Like you could kind of, because in Marvel vs. Capcom, you just press a button and they come in and they hopefully hit something. They do like one thing and then leave. This almost looks like you can really set up cool combos with it.
Yeah, you pick a different move. Like I think you use the D-pad and they each get like 4 moves, something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna just scroll to ones that I care about. If you see something else, you just jump in. Exo Primal has Street Fighter characters. Yay. Exo Primal, I guess we'll save that for the Capcom event because the Capcom had nothing.
Yeah, no, sucked.
Nicolas Cage hung out with Jeff Keighley.
They made such a big deal about a skin in Dead by Daylight. It was like Nicolas a whole Cage. 10
minutes. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool that Nicolas Cage is in the game.
I do love Nicolas Cage, but I wish he would embrace his age more.
Why? What do you mean?
He's got like a jet black dyed faux hawk, and it just doesn't look. I don't know, man.
That's his vibe, man. His vibe is like Hollywood plastic surgery.
Okay. I'm not judging at all. I just think he'd look really cool if he didn't look like he was trying to look 25 again.
Right.
I think Nick Cage looks really cool when he looks like Nick Cage.
I understand. I want to talk about Sonic Superstars. This is like one of the big deal games.
Oh yeah, You have to. I was losing my mind for you.
So I mean, I'm a big Sonic fan. Like the 2D stuff. This is weird. It makes it look like at first it's gonna be like a Master Chief Collection type thing where it switches between like the pixelated look and the new 3D look, but they're just like, this is the old look. Now you get the new cool modern 3D.
Yeah, screw the old look. You don't need that anymore.
With an all new look, and it looks really good. It looks cute. You're playing as classic Sonic. It looks like Generations, but with only classic Sonic in a 2D format. And the big deal is that there's 4-player co-op, but
that is actually kind of cool.
It's local only.
Oh, God, that's so stupid.
And this whole trailer, you're looking at it right now. What happens if one person's faster than the rest? We don't. They're always on the same screen at the same time. We just saw Amy. We just saw Amy not able to keep up a little bit, and she fell off screen a little bit. Actually, where did it go? I don't know. Well, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, is it gonna be like a Toe Jam and Earl or Lego style, where like if you fall off screen, it starts to split screen? Or is it going to be like Sonic 2 and Sonic 3, where if the second player is Tails and they fall off screen, they're just gone off screen?
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe they rubber band or they zip back.
I have very low expectations for this. I like the idea a lot, but I've been burned by Sonic so many times. I have so many questions, and I think there's a lot of room for failure for this.
Yeah, no, I agree. I didn't really think about that as far as like what happens if you're trying to blast through it. But I think maybe if you're playing co-op, you just kind of got to take it easy. Like you're trying to have a nice time with your friends. I mean, stop trying to speed run it, I guess.
Well, that's fine. Because when people talk about Sonic, I'm always like, don't try to speed run it. Just treat it like a platformer. But there are times in Sonic games where you just go really fast. And if you miss that spring or whatever, you just aren't playing for like a full minute. Like if you're the Tails character, if you're the guy who falls off screen, you just don't play. So that's not fun at all.
The chat suggesting what I was going to suggest, like the bubbles, like in Mario. I can't remember what game it was, but Kim and I was playing a co-op game, some Nintendo game. And whenever she would fall behind, they would put her in a bubble and like bring her back. I hate that. I hate like that. I hate it so much. It's not fun.
I liked it in New Super Mario Brothers because I was always flooring it through the level, and then whoever I'm playing with, turns into a bubble.
Let me reiterate. I loved it in the sense of I got to keep playing and it didn't slow down me. Yeah. But like from Kim's standpoint, that ain't fun to constantly be bubbled along.
Yeah. I liked it one of the other reasons I liked it is because you can hit a button and turn into a bubble. So like if you are stuck in a spot, you know, you can get a little help. But I think that New Super Mario Brothers was designed in a way that felt okay, and I don't think a Sonic game can do that because it's just so there's so many elements in the levels that are very fast paced, where that will probably just happen way more often. So I don't know. I need to see like an actual gameplay trailer from a guy playing it, not
playing co-op. Yeah,
not this. But it's coming fall, and presumably for everything. Yeah, it's coming for everything.
Oh, I was gonna say, are we gonna stream it? But I guess not because it's local only.
Jackson literally said, "Will you play the new Sonic game with me?" And I was like, "Okay," because I want to play it and I want to try co-op, but we can't.
I'll come over.
We could come over. We can do Parsec.
We'll just spend them out. Come over. We'll do the podcast or something. We'll figure it out, baby. Quickly before you move on, we had some more super chats I wanted to hit. Rolo with 5. Nintendo confirmed their presence at GameStop in August. They should announce something before then. Presence at GameStop? Like the one near me? GameSpot? I'm not sure what they mean by that. I might be out of touch there, but I don't doubt something before August will happen. It's your boy with 2. E3 was home to some of the best video game lore, best moments in video game lore. I 100% agree. I actually do miss E3. I know Bob hates it when I say that. There's a lot I hate about E3, but I don't know, man. It's nostalgic, even though it's not that old.
Everybody misses all of the big announcements being under one roof.
Because it was a whole event, and it just felt more hype. You know, you would sit there for like 3 straight days and get nothing but announcements. It was so exciting. As a creator online, you could like use E3 as like clickbait and like get views on talking about gaming stuff. Now, like literally, I went live the other day and I was like, what everyone think of the Xbox event? And people were like, there was an Xbox event? Like, they just don't notice when it's not under that bracket, but it's whatever. Yeah. Let's keep going. Bob's favorite, Honkai Star Rail, PlayStation release window.
I was skipping over that.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Oh, can we talk about Life of P?
Lies of P.
Lies of P, I mean.
Who's P? When I first saw this game, it was in some announcement or something. My brother was like, just watch this trailer. And then guess who that is? And I watched the whole trailer and I was like, I don't know. I have no idea.
Who,
and he goes,
P?
Yeah. He's like, that's Pinocchio.
Oh.
They don't, in the first trailer, they don't explain anything. They're just like.
The only reason I know is because when you watch the Summer Game Fest, they let it in and they were like, inspired by the story of Pinocchio, Lies of P, and then it showed the trailer.
It's insane. This game looks absolutely insane.
To be a new IP that came out of nowhere, it gives me Nier Automata vibes, kind of Demon Dark Souls vibes. I want to play this. This looks crazy. Demo. You can play it now.
I downloaded it. I haven't played it yet.
I actually haven't had a chance either. I've been working on my Zelda review, but it's on my radar. I'm definitely want to check it out. I'm sure a lot of people here in chat have already played it. Let us know.
If you haven't, there's a demo literally right now across all platforms, apparently.
Yeah, no, it looks sick. Great animations and character designs and world. I think the name is stupid, but
I think it's so funny. I think it's so funny because it's a story about Pinocchio. You play as Pinocchio, who's like older now, and they don't put it in the title. It's just Lies of P because his whole thing is lying.
Piss, like Lies of P. Like you pissed your pants, now you're lying about it.
I like that.
It's extremely From Software. Yeah, no, I agree.
What do we want to do? Okay. Oh, you want to do Sandland?
The only reason I want to is because I'm a big fan of Akira Toriyama's art. I love Dragon Quest. I love Dragon Ball. And this is his new game that he's done art for. Although apparently it was a manga already. Sandland was an existing manga, so they've taken that. It's funny, his style, man. I can't think of another creator that does this, where they have multiple massive IPs that they draw for, and it's the same art every time. Like, I couldn't tell if this was a Dragon Ball game or a Dragon Quest game, and then it was neither.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that's his thing.
he just has all these different games that look exactly the same. Like that scorpion enemy is literally straight out of Dragon Quest. I can find that enemy for you. It's just
Yeah,
unapologetic.
yeah, they literally don't do anything to differentiate.
No, nothing
It
at
might
all.
be on purpose because they know that those other franchises are so successful.
Yeah, it's just his thing. It's his trademark. If you get him, you get him. You know what I mean? But no, it's like an open world game based on a manga I haven't read, but it looks interesting.
Where did I skip something? No,
I think there's just a big gap there.
there's just a big gap. You want to talk about Alan Wake? You like Alan Wake? I think we talked about this already.
Oh yeah.
Because this was in the PlayStation event.
Yeah, but they gave you a better, bigger look at it. Now we've actually got some gameplay here, and it's looking, I'll say, better than I thought. I really thought when they were going for this horror element, it would so far deviate from original Alan Wake, but they show some gameplay here, and it is exactly the same. Like they've taken the gameplay and they've just put it into this more horror setting, but it's the same. You use the flashlight on the enemies to knock out what is essentially a shield, but it's their darkness. You weaken their darkness so that you can shoot them and do damage. But it looks the same. It's weighted the same. You have a dodge still, and if you do the dodge at the right moment, you get a little bit of a slow-mo thing. It is exactly the same gameplay, but put into this more horror, gritty, beautiful-looking setting, and I love it. I was really worried it was going to be so different, but it's so similar while being so different. I'm very excited. I was shocked to see how similar it is to the original Alan Wake.
Yeah, I've never played the original, but this interests me a lot. The gameplay looks a lot like Resident Evil 4. And
yeah,
I said that to my brother, and he was like, "Yeah, well, the original was kind of just like Resident Evil 4." So
yeah, it was very similar. I think it's looking great. I'm always hesitant to change, and you play half at this game as a character who isn't Alan. I mean, I've been waiting 15 years to play more of Alan's story, and I feel like I'm only going to get half of it. But I haven't played it yet, so I guess we'll see. Obviously, they have a reason for doing it, so
I don't know if we know how the switching back and forth works. Like if you're forced to switch back and forth, or if you just switch at your will, and maybe you can play the whole thing as Alan, and you'll just miss the other half of the story.
They said you play half the game as this character, like the creator said.
But it could be like in Resident Evil 4, there's the two characters, and you can just play the whole game as one, and then you can play the whole game again as the other one, but you don't have to. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I think it's going to be story driven, and you play like in chapters as like this character, and then that character, and then this character, and then that character. But I mean, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I am just excited I'm getting a sequel to one of my favorite cult classics. So yeah, it's looking good.
Okay. I'm scrolling through the rest.
Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2. I'm not even kidding. I'm excited for it. I know it sounds like I shouldn't be, but it is literally, it looks like Gears of War, and it's 3-player co-op. And I can't tell you, my buddies and I, how much we love Gears of War. We grew up playing it, LANs and all of that. It's one of my favorite series, and I have no interest in Space Marine. I've never painted Warhammer. But if you watch the trailer for this, it actually just looks like Gears of War, but with new characters. I mean, they even have the same bulky armor. Like, I don't know. We've already locked in dates to play this together. So I actually am excited for this game, believe it or not.
Okay, that is weird.
I know.
That is interesting.
It's just one of them things. I love Gears of War. I love Halo. It's nostalgia for high school and LANs and all of that.
Okay. John Carpenter apparently has a game. Apparently he's really big into video games. So they just slapped his name on a game.
The game doesn't look too bad. It's a co-op zombie game, which I might also play with my friends.
Yeah, it seemed like they were making a Left 4 Dead style game, and they were like, "Hey, John Carpenter, you want to slap your name on it, and we'll give you some money?" And he was like, "Yeah, dude, sounds awesome."
Yeah, I mean, I don't sound like a broken record, but this is something that the same buddies that I will play that last game with, we played through World War Z together, and that was a ton of fun. That's actually a hidden gem, underrated co-op zombie game, and this looks very similar, just waves and waves and waves of zombies, but maybe more open even, because you like drive around. So I'll play that.
There's a Final Fantasy VII game. Do we care about that?
I've talked about how I'm a big Final Fantasy fan who's only really ever played 2 games. I played the last remake, fully finished it, and really loved it. So I'm looking forward to this. I never played the original Final Fantasy VII, so this is me playing it for the first time.
This is Ever Crisis. This is different.
Oh, well, not at that yet. Okay, that no, I don't care about.
Okay,
sorry.
Then there's a new Yakuza game, Like a Dragon. Is that it? Is it just called Like a Dragon? I'm so confused by all these names now.
Yeah, I'm confused too, because
Like a Dragon, Gaiden, the man who erased his name. And then there's another one.
Yeah, so there was Yakuza Like a Dragon, which was I loved that one, and it was like a JRPG spin-off of the Yakuza series, but it was still a Yakuza game. But since then, all the other Yakuza games have been called Like a Dragon something, which is confusing because it was the subtext in a previous Yakuza game. But then someone in my chat when I was live, when I had this conversation, they were like, the original name of the games in Japan is Like a Dragon.
Yes.
So we just call them Yakuza.
I think Gaiden is now the subtext, meaning like the mainline Yakuza.
Yeah. I'm honestly still confused.
And then the other one where the dude was naked in the trailer, I think that's the turn-based one.
Yeah, he's the main character in the turn-based one. I'm really excited for that because I have played very few Yakuzas. They have a few different styles in their games, and his one was a JRPG. If you've never played a Yakuza, they are actually crazy good and not what you expect. They are so off-the-wall wacky. You can spend half of a Yakuza game in an arcade playing like freaking claw machines. Like it's so... And that game, the whole thing I thought was it was like a Dragon Quest, where the main hero was obsessed with Dragon Quest and talked about it all the time. So when you got into fights, the idea was he saw the fights like he was playing his favorite game, Dragon Quest. So when he got into a fight, suddenly he had all this armor on and he had his baseball bat and he could do fire moves and special abilities. And it became an RPG because that's how he was seeing the world. And I thought the whole gimmick was Like a Dragon Quest. But now everything is called Like a Dragon. So I'm confused. But yeah, that game was really good.
What else do you want to go over here? There was a Call of Duty update that looks interesting, but the map, they announced all these cool things in the map, and then they didn't show any of them in the trailer.
I don't have anything to say about that.
Fae Farm, yay. There's a Marvel Snap update. You like that game?
I play it every night for at least a few games. I saw that they added a whole story kind of mode, but I haven't tried it yet.
And the last thing that seems interesting is Final Fantasy VII, the next Final Fantasy VII, which is, they announced, going to be 2 discs.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay.
I know it's dumb and I shouldn't, but it's nostalgic.
I think it's ridiculous. I think games are getting ridiculous now with the amount of just fluff they're packing in there. They just have no regard for your disk space on your console anymore. Because
I think it's just a big game.
So you have to, put this on your PlayStation 5. Like you put it in, you have to basically install both discs onto your PlayStation 5. But yeah, it could just be a big game. And I'd rather it come in the box than come in a download later.
Exactly.
So
I know it's clunky,
it's okay.
And I love it for nostalgia because growing up, if a game had 2 discs, I knew I was in for a good time. But what I also love about it is preservation, because they could just do 1 disc and do half download, easy peasy. Yeah. That's what 99% of all games do these days. If it's too big to fit on one,
they're paying for that. They're paying for that extra disc. Yeah.
So the fact that you're getting them on 2, that's a little annoying, but that means in 30 years from now, let's say, if you want to go back and play this game and all the servers are shut down and you can't download the back half of the game that's not on the disc, this might actually be one of the rare games in the future where you'll have the whole game because they gave you 2 discs. So from a game preservation standpoint, I actually love that they're just committing to, we want to give you the whole game, here's 2 discs. I know it's annoying, but it's better than the alternative.
No, I would much rather it be 2 discs than a download for sure. But I also think Come on, you couldn't have put it on one. You couldn't have figured that out.
I bet eventually, maybe I don't know. They probably could condense it later with optimization, but I mean, I think they're focusing on getting the game out right now. A tangent I want to quickly go on about preservation. You know what annoys me though? I don't want to jump to Starfield and talk about that yet.
Well, we're on the Xbox showcase after that, so we can just
there.
Okay.
But I pre-ordered the collector's edition with the watch because I thought the watch looked sick.
Oh no.
I hate this new thing that everyone is doing where you don't get the disc in the collector's edition. It doesn't make any sense, but it's the new thing. It's like across the board for every like published whatever.
Collectors want to collect the game.
I finally had someone explain to me why, but it still doesn't make any sense to me. Because now we have stupid, dumb idiots that buy the Series S, I'm kidding, or the stupid dumb idiots that buy the digital PlayStation, I'm kidding, you're not a dumb idiot. But because of you people, if they were to make a collector's edition and put a disc in there, if you have the digital, you can't play it. And if they put the code and the disc, I mean, they could probably figure it out, but you're essentially getting 2 copies of the game at that point, you know? So like, I get the reasoning, but like, also, if you're getting a collector's edition, are you the kind of person that has a digital console? Like, it sounds like you don't really care about collecting. I'm trying to collect here. Give me a disc.
You know, there was a game that came out with a collector's edition that did not come with the game at all. And they got a lot of crap for that because why wouldn't it come with the game?
Not even a code?
Yeah, but that actually makes a little bit of sense because it's like, hey, if you want the game, you pick then if you want digital or physical. But then it's like, give me a discount. Like, have a deal with like Target or something to like give me a discount if I get the bundle.
Or do a physical collector's edition and a digital collector's edition.
Yeah.
You could do
then you got 2 SKUs.
Figure it out. Like I'm saying, if the code is an issue for like, you know, having 2 copies, then just tie it to the disc. So if the disc has been played, the code gets erased, or vice versa. You know, I don't know. Figure it out.
I mean, they figured it out with Blu-rays. You know, like if you buy a Blu-ray, you get a digital code with it.
I spent $300 on that collector's edition, and I don't get the game. I get the digital, but anyway, different.
And you're also gonna buy the game, aren't you? Yes, you're also gonna buy a physical, because you're a collector. Because that's what collectors do.
If I like the game, I will. I just wanted to make sure I had the watch because the watch looked cool. That's Summer Game Fest. Before we completely move on, I was going to say one more thing about it. Oh, Fae Farm, I thought looked good, but after watching that trailer, it looks more like I'm too old. I think I'm too old for that game, so I might miss it.
Why don't we jump to Starfield and then we'll go back to the rest of the Xbox? Because we're already at an hour.
Are we?
Yeah.
Dude,
we only did one.
Do we do Capcom and Ubisoft in the bonus episode?
Sure. I mean, we can. There was literally nothing in those. There was a cool Star Wars game.
I want to talk about that.
Which is in the Xbox event.
Let's do it in the bonus. We'll do those 2 in the bonus, and let's do Xbox now quickly.
Okay, let's just jump to Starfield because that's the big one, and then we'll go through the other stuff.
If you don't know what the bonus is, it's the Patreon bonus. So you gotta have to come to the Patreon episode. All right, Starfield. What do you think?
I think it looks really good. I'm not like that big of a Bethesda fan, but I'm definitely gonna play this game and try it out. It looks a lot of fun to me.
Yeah, I liked Fallout 4. I got hard locked or soft locked, I don't know what you call it, out of finishing the game right at the end because I'm an idiot. So I never beat it, but I really liked what I played, and I also liked. I didn't like Skyrim, so like I'm not big on Bethesda, and I wasn't convinced
I was the opposite. I played Fallout 3, and really I played all the way to the end, and then I was like, fuck this game, I hate this game. And then I played Skyrim like way late. I was like 10 years late to Skyrim, and I actually kind of really liked it. I'm not like a huge Bethesda fan, but this I'm down for this. And this is the aesthetic that I like. I like the aesthetic and everything.
For sure. Yeah, I wasn't convinced on it. I wasn't really sure. But then after watching all the gameplay trailer and the big half an hour look they did, I'm definitely way more intrigued. My interest has gone up from 10% to like 70%. I don't want to be that guy, but I think it's interesting how this game looks like a 1-for-1 of No Man's Sky and like where No Man's Sky is at right now. And I've recently played a lot of No Man's Sky. And while they were talking about this game, every single element, I was like, yeah, you can do that in No Man's Sky. You can do that in No Man's Sky.
This is a big budget No Man's Sky.
But this is a big budget No Man's Sky.
Yeah, and also, you're right. Like, I was getting No Man's Sky vibes when they were explaining everything. But the difference is, I mean, I'm thinking about No Man's Sky back in the day when they were announcing No Man's Sky and they overpromised and severely underdelivered. Bethesda can match the expectations. They can promise. They can deliver on what they're promising. And I know No Man's Sky is like a lot better now. So
No Man's Sky is insane now, and it has most of, if not all, of the features they talk about here. But the one key difference is the storytelling. No Man's Sky has very lackluster storytelling, no voice acting really, not any decision making, no real good story.
This will have a narrative.
This will have a narrative, and it'll have side missions. It'll have NPCs. It'll have
there'll be stuff in the world.
Yeah, there'll be stuff to do in the world other than mine for materials and do pointless little side missions that are just like go collect this or go do that. So that's going to be the big difference. And I'm excited for that. I look forward to that. I think what excites me, or the concept for me the most, and again, something that No Man's Sky is missing, is the civilizations and towns. There are none of that in No Man's Sky. You can fly to planets just like you can in Starfield, but when you get there, there's nothing there. So that excites me. The idea that I can like be in this big cyberpunk kind of city, walking along the streets, getting a drink at a bar, and then like, all right, I'm going to go hop in my ship, hop hyperspace galaxies and go to this other town and pick up a mission. That is really cool to me. And I hope that they put this in VR one day, because if this game ever comes to VR, you might never see me again.
Yeah. That's a high possibility. They put a lot of their other stuff in VR.
Skyrim and Fallout got VR.
Yeah.
And I love No Man's Sky in VR. No Man's Sky in VR is what made it so fun for me. I can't tell you. I mean, I've talked about it a bunch, but just the concept of climbing into my ship, grabbing my controls, and flying out of the atmosphere into another planet, no load screens, landing. Yeah. If I get to do it in this game one day, and like then walk into a town or a city, like that sounds really cool.
So the big caveat I have with this is I think that Bethesda can deliver for sure. They can hit their promises of the mechanics that they have. Yeah, I think this game is going to be severely broken when it launches. I don't think it's going to work right at all. It's going to perform like garbage.
That's the fun of Bethesda. Finding all the bugs and glitches and all the videos online of the NPC's legs going spaghetti and then flying out into the space. That's the good stuff.
The big controversy now is that it's locked at 30 on consoles, 30 frames per second. So everybody's like, that's fine. I'm going to get the PC version anyway. Your PC version is going to run like shit. There's no way that you're going to have a nice, fun 60 frames, maybe at 1080p, but you're going to have problems everywhere else.
Yeah, that'll be hard to say until we actually see it, but I don't doubt it. As far as the 30 FPS element, I think that's the least of the worries. I think it's going to be broken all around that. I think they'll be like, hey, we got the 30, but when you go to that moon over there, it's a rocky ride. It's going to be all glitchy and like that mirror, like weird flicky. I was going to say I hate that I'm at this point now, but I gave up a couple years back on these new consoles being able to produce anything in 4K 60 or even like half the time 1440 60. Like my bar got lowered in the first year or two. So hearing that they're aiming for like I think it was 1440 on the X at 60
No, it's
FPS.
4K. It's 4K 30.
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, I'll take it. I'm playing. I say I'm playing. I haven't since Zelda came out, but I'm playing. What's it called? Star Wars Jedi, and they gave an option of 60 frames and like 1080p, or 4K 30. And ironically, the 4K 30, according to Digital Foundry, and even what I ended up experiencing, was the better option because it looked better and it was actually locked at 30, which made it a nice stable experience. Whereas the 60 FPS, it was so up and down and bouncy, and sometimes it would drop below 30, and the 4K didn't even look that good. It was kind of like it just wasn't worth the trade-off. It still wasn't really. It was like dynamic 4K almost.
Yeah.
So,
it lowers the resolution instead of the frame rate when things dip. And I just locking the frame rate is not a 1-to-1 comparison, frame rate to resolution. Like you can't just say let's lower it to 1080p and get that 60. It's harder to get frames, I think, than it is to get resolution.
I know yes, perfect world. At this point, we should be 4K 60. But I think based on what we've seen on these consoles recently and over the last few years, 4K 30 is a win. Just take it. Just take what you can get at this point. And I hate to say it, but I mean, I just don't think the console can do more.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the least of our worries. I think that the game, first of all, I don't think the game's coming out. We have a release date of September 9th, I think. Give it another couple weeks. I don't think we're hitting that date at all. But
you think it's going to get delayed?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. I don't think so.
I think it's going to get delayed, and then it's going to come out, and it's going to be severely broken.
I think we're too close to September. I mean, they have to know at this point, 3 months away. They're going to know whether or not they can make that at this point.
I think in a month or two, you're going to get a little letter from the Bethesda Twitter. One of those little picture letters that says we're sorry, but give us another few weeks.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I think that would be crazy, but I've seen crazier things happen. Okay, well that's Starfield. I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and it's gonna play it for sure.
I can't believe it's taken Xbox this long to get a game out.
I think I'm gonna. So it is pretty much everything they announced at this Xbox showcase is gonna be day one on Game Pass. So these days I'm kind of not getting games for my PlayStation or my Xbox. I'm getting them on Steam because I want to be able to play them on my Steam Deck. But I have a Game Pass subscription.
I wonder how this will run on Steam Deck. Actually,
like ass. It's gonna run like ass everywhere.
I might finally have a reason to play my Steam Deck as long as it's not ass.
So I have a Game Pass subscription, so I don't want to buy the game if I already have it in Game Pass. So I'm going to play it on Xbox. Also, I think it'll run better on Xbox than it will on my PC, especially if I'm streaming at the same time.
If I played on my Xbox, then I could use the ROG Ally for the Xbox, and then the save would.
I think it's PC Game Pass too. So you could play it on the ROG Ally.
Because with Steam Deck, I wouldn't be able to do the Game Pass thing. But
no, you're only streaming if you have that set, and you don't have that set up. It is a pain in the ass to get streaming on
that would be
the Steam Deck.
The Xbox event in general, I actually liked more than Summer Game Fest. So the fact that we're starting it now, over an hour in, is scary.
I gotta be honest. I think I like the PlayStation event more than any of these other events. I think they did a better job.
I agree with that too. But I actually did like the Xbox One. The Xbox One had a lot of things that were on Xbox and other places. So it kind of turned
did PlayStation.
True. So, I mean, for me, the Xbox One kind of turned into like a Summer Game Fest too. And it was good. I liked it. I liked it more than Summer Game Fest. And yeah, the PlayStation event was really good too. Do you want to... I could spend another hour on half of these. I don't know what you want to do here. I mean,
I want to at least talk about Star Wars because that's the only other big one that I know of. Everything else is like filler for me. It's Ubisoft Star Wars.
Yes.
I don't like Ubisoft right now because every one of their games feels exactly the same. And
we'll talk about that.
I'm worried about this. But when every Ubisoft game feels like Assassin's Creed, but this.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed, but now you have a gun and like
honestly,
stuff like that.
For me, it was Far Cry, but this.
So Assassin's Creed, but Star Wars actually sounds pretty cool. But then I saw the trailer and I was like, this trailer's weird. or the gameplay trailer. This isn't the gameplay trailer. The gameplay trailer was in the Ubisoft stuff. The cinematic trailer looks good. And I think somewhere in the trailer, there's a character that is called Jalen, and it's for sure Kyle Katarn from the old Star Wars games, from the old Jedi Knight games. And I loved those games. And I loved Kyle Katarn. He was such a fucking cool character.
I love when you get excited for games.
Imagine Han Solo, but you give him a lightsaber. And he doesn't give a shit about the Jedi Order or anything. He can do Sith stuff and he can do Jedi stuff. And he's like, I could have a wife. I don't care about Jedi shit. I'm just what Jedi book? I don't give a fuck about Yoda or anything.
Wow.
I just want to force choke people.
Anything.
He's so goddamn cool, and they just left him in the old canon. So
nerdy.
This takes place between Empire and Jedi. Oh, there he is. Oh, there he is. He's on screen right now. There he is. This takes place between. This takes place between Empire and Jedi, and that is prime Kyle Katarn time. That's when he really did his shit.
So you think this guy is that guy?
Yes, I think that is for sure that guy.
Okay. And you played as him as in the older games?
Yeah, in the Jedi Knight game. So there's Jedi Knight, and then in the Jedi Knight Jedi Outcast game, they halfway through the game, they give him a lightsaber and he turns into a Jedi. It's fucking awesome because you're playing the game and you're shooting people, and then they're here's a lightsaber, and you're oh my god, I get this now. And then in Jedi Academy, that was the last game we saw Kyle Katarn, and that game was sick. And you didn't even play as him; he was just kind of your mentor.
I played those games back in the day, but I don't remember them very well.
Oh, I
remember liking them.
I remember that was the best lightsabers were in video games.
I do remember that.
Until Jedi Fallen Order, basically. What was the one before that with frickin' the Sith one? We played as a Darth Vader's apprentice. I'm blanking on the name.
Force Unleashed.
Yeah, Force Unleashed was good, but I remember playing that, and I was I kind of liked the Jedi Academy lightsaber battling better.
Yeah, that was a weird hack and slash, but I did like it. I'm actually looking at pictures of Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, and it's giving me nostalgia. But also, this guy's definitely that guy, 100%.
Yeah.
I want to send you an image here to back up your thesis. I'm gonna drop it in our little chat. I don't know if you can bring it up and do a side by side.
Kind of.
Look, it's the same shirt, the same beard, the same hair. I think you're spot on.
I have a different picture that I had on my
wait.
Twitter
Here's one. Do this one.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. Look at that guy.
Yeah. That's him. You're 100%, my guy. 100%.
I mean, it's not just me. There's people posting comparisons on Twitter and stuff. So his name's Jalen, and I was I've heard that name before. There's just a random Clone Wars character in one random book named Jalen, but the main character guy that you play as in Jedi Academy is Jay Din. So I don't know. I think I'm Pepe Silva. I'm trying to pull a Pepe Silva, friggin'
Charlie.
Trying to draw some connections here. But anyway, they did a gameplay trailer at the Ubisoft event, and that was weird. You pointed out that the guy didn't know how to shoot a gun in the game. He was aiming all weird. Yeah. It was very bizarre. But they were trying to show off all the different mechanics that the game would have, and it does look like they just took every Ubisoft game and mashed them into a Star Wars universe. The flying in the game looks exactly like Starlink. And they tried to do a thing where you get into the spaceship and you go right into space and you end up in space like in No Man's Sky, except there's a very clear foggy loading screen.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
I just want more Star Wars, and I like everything I'm seeing here.
Have you played Jedi Survivor yet?
No, I'm still going through the first game.
Okay.
I want to get through the first game before I get to the next one. I like it. It's very
sense.
good. I didn't play it at first because I hated a lot of the new Star Wars stuff. I was a huge Star Wars fan from for the original trilogy, and then I loved all of the legend stuff, the stuff that happened after episode 6, and then the new Disney stuff happened, and it kind of invalidated all of the cool stuff that I liked. So it turned me off, and I also hate. Yeah, you got me on a rant here. I also
I'm loving it.
I hate when they just add Jedi that are still alive after the Purge, after Order 66. They just keep throwing Jedi in, and it's like, I thought Luke was the only hope. Why are there all these people now? It completely invalidates episode 4.
I'm not that into the lore to understand exactly what you're saying, but I am loving the passion.
Yeah. So, but after that whole shebang, I was like, this game shouldn't exist. I don't know why there's more Jedi after Order 66. But then, more stuff came out, and then I saw some gameplay, and the story looks really good in Jedi Fallen Order, and I started playing it, and it's really good. So
it is really good.
Yeah.
What I like about this new Star Wars game is a couple things. One, I like the idea that it's not a Jedi. That we know of, I suppose, because I'm still trying to finish Survive, and I'm seeing trailers for this new game that looks like Survive. Yeah. So I kind of like that it's a rogue. I don't know what you would call her.
I hope the enemies, like, I hope there's no lightsabers.
No, yeah, I hope so too. I mean, we've had very few, if any, more than 1 or 2 games, Star Wars games, where you don't have a lightsaber.
Very, very few.
I think that's great. I think that's a great way of mixing it up.
So there were the Dark Forces games.
Solo.
So Jedi Knight Dark Forces was the last one, and then you had Republic Commando. And I guess Star Wars Bounty Hunter.
There are so many Star Wars stories to tell. I would love a Bounty Hunter game one day.
And that's it.
Like the one on GameCube, which, by the way, that was another one where you didn't have a lightsaber. I think I would love to play as a Han Solo or a bounty hunter or something like that. I don't always need to be a freaking Jedi. So yeah, I think that's great. And also, yeah, it's made by Ubisoft, and I like that they've taken this IP and this property of Star Wars, and it looks like they've really done it justice. It looks like a Star Wars story. The world looks in depth and fleshed out and beautiful, as opposed to taking another IP, and we'll get to this in the Ubisoft section, but Avatar, where the world looks bland and boring and like a generic movie game from the 360 era. Looks like they've taken that IP and I didn't really know what to do with it. But they've taken this Star Wars IP, and it looks like they've done a good job. So
I really don't get the Avatar hype. I don't know where all that money's coming from. I've never met a single person who's like into Avatar.
Maybe I'm missing something. I'm sorry if you're a big fan. I know there was a 360 Avatar game. I just don't get the draw. Why do you want to play an Avatar game? What is the draw?
Who's got an Avatar poster hanging up in their room? That's what I want to know.
It's like, people complain about there being nothing to do in Zelda's world, but like this, what is in the Navi world that you want to explore? Like, it's a nice tech demo at best. We'll get to it in the Ubisoft portion. We got to blast through this.
Well, yeah, that's all. That's really, there's a lot of other cool things, but for the most part, that's all that I think is worth talking about.
On Xbox, I could blast through.
Yeah, blast through.
Okay. I'm going to be trying to be really quick because we're over time, and we got to get to this bonus.
I got a DMV appointment at 3:30.
All right. Fable. I love Fable. This was a cinematic trailer. I love that
This looked cool.
They've captured the humor of Fable, which is very promising and gives me good vibes, because I'm pretty sure it's a different team, and something that really made Fable what it was the humor. But it's here. This feels like old school Fable humor, which is very promising for me. If you've never played Fable, it was Xbox's Zelda, is the best way I can really explain it. It was a ton of fun. Fable 1 and 2 are highly regarded as some of the best games of all time. 3 was okay. So yeah, looking forward to that. They also, I think it's big because we finally have some of these, and that this is what I'm talking about, play that trailer, is we finally have these 13,000 studios that Xbox bought finally making games and finally getting new IPs on Xbox. And this is, again, just a cinematic trailer, but it's got cool vibes, cool music, cool art style, and it's just nice to finally see those studios producing something. That's all I'll say. 33 Immortals is a co-op game by the people that did Spiritfarer, which a lot of our fans might like, Bob, because it was a big, it's on everything, but it was a big Switch release. It did really well on Nintendo.
This is interesting to me because it's a 33-player co-op game.
Yeah. So I guess you can go online and get people to come join your game, and
I want to try that.
People. Yeah, that sounds really. People were like, "Why 33?" It's like because you're talking about it. It's just they obviously had a story idea at 33, and they just made it work. Payday 3, whatever.
I really want to play Payday. Like I liked Payday 2.
Because I was gonna say, why don't we play this when it comes out? I'm so sick of Valorant.
I like games like this, so I'm excited for more Payday. Yes. But this looks exactly like Payday 2.
Oh, no difference. I saw no difference. Yeah. Payday 2, by the way, one of the biggest fails on Nintendo. Like one day, I want to do a video about biggest Nintendo Switch flops, and Payday is one of them. They spent because they announced it when the Switch was essentially releasing. It took them about 2 or 3 years to finally get the port out because it was development hell. They finally got it out, and it didn't run very well, and it sold something like 10,000 copies. Like it was a abysmally low. They had all this planned DLC and support that they immediately within a week announced they were scrapping because just it bombed. It failed. It was one of the worst releases. Sadly, because they did a lot of work to get it on Switch. Persona 3 Reloaded, I'm very excited for because 4 and 5 are some of my favorite games of all time, but Persona 3 was very dated, and it's kind of in between becoming as Persona 1 and 2 were fine. I don't know much about them, but 3 is where it hit its stride, but it still had a lot of flaws that 4 and 5 perfected, and it's just older and outdated. It's hard to go back and play it. So to have it brought up to the quality of 5 Royal and seeing this, I'm very excited to play 3 again. There's more I can say, but I tried to summarize it. Avowed, people are excited for that. Bethesda actually does look pretty good. Next, I'm trying to be quick. Sea of Thieves and Monkey Island. This was my favorite thing from the whole friggin' event. I feel like it's such a weird niche thing that was made for me and me only, because who else cares about these two properties? I grew up on Monkey Island. I love Monkey Island. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It got me into point and clicks. I never hear anyone else sharing love for Monkey Island. And I also really like Sea of Thieves, and people made fun of me. I remember being on the Spawncast podcast when the Sea of Thieves game came out initially, and I said I liked it, and literally everyone else on the podcast laughed at me, and they still make fun of me for liking the game. And now I have a crossover of these two weird games that only I seem to like. They have the original voice actors. It's like a whole actual story, which is good because Sea of Thieves has no story, so it's nice to get more of it.
This looks like a game.
Yeah, they did this for Pirates of the Caribbean too. There was an actual game mode with like Jack and the Black Pearl and a whole story, and they've done it again. I can't tell you how cool this is. You visit Monkey Island in Sea of Thieves. Like, sorry, whatever. Senua Hellblade 2. I'm excited for that. The trailer wasn't very exciting, I don't feel like.
The technology in Senua's saga is really cool.
The facial animations are insane.
The acting is really cool.
Yeah. I loved the first game, and it's actually, speaking of Switch ports, the reverse of Payday 2. Hellblade 1 was probably the most impressive Switch port I've ever seen.
Wow.
I can't believe they got that game on Switch, and it looks better than most Switch games, and it shouldn't because it's like a graphically intense game.
Mm-hmm. Here's the Like a Dragon. This is the turn-based one.
Yes.
Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth.
A lot of people regard, I forget his name. Someone's gonna have to tell. Oh no, I know his name because it means one in Japanese.
Ichiban.
Yeah, his name is Ichiban. A lot of people regard him as one of the best characters in the whole Yakuza series, and I loved him. He's very likable. He's just a lovable dope, and he was a lot of fun to play as. So yeah, I'm excited for that. It also looks like it's in California or America this time. We've never had a Yakuza.
Oh, that's why he washes up.
Yeah. which is very interesting. I would love to play a Yakuza like fish out of water story where it's like set in like California. That would be wild. They've never done that before. And then Dungeons of Hinterberg. I scrolled down quite a bit. Looks very trippy and very Zelda reminiscent, like old school Zelda.
Oh yeah, this game looks really cool. I want to try this. This looks really cool. Hopefully this is Game Pass. Do we know?
Oh, I'm sure it is. If it's in this
Xbox
thing.
Game Pass, baby. I want to try that. It looks really cool.
Yeah, I love the art style. I don't know if you want to give people a little taste.
There it is.
Okay, it's kind of here. This isn't really doing justice of what I said. There you go. That's a little better. Cyberpunk has DLC. Who cares?
That looks really cool. The DLC looks cool. It looks like a whole new game.
Who cares?
I'm not gonna play it.
I'll play it. I'm gonna stream it.
It looks like a whole new game. It looks pretty cool.
Towerborn, Clockwork Revolution. I thought that was BioShock, and it's not. It looks like a BioShock.
Yeah, that
light.
was weird. It looks exactly like BioShock Infinite, and I know they're making a spiritual successor to BioShock somewhere, and they're making a remake of BioShock, or like they're making they're redoing BioShock in some way. So there's 2 BioShock-like games coming out, and this is just a knockoff. It's not any of those. So
no, I know. I was convinced
weird.
it was BioShock for the first half, and then slowly started to change my mind. I'm glad it's not BioShock because it doesn't have the personality and humor and pizzazz I don't think that BioShock has, but it's very close. It's weird. I like it. And then finally, a new Xbox.
That's cool. I mean, I think the Series S is slept on a little bit. Like, I think it's a great console that I think a lot of people are missing out on because they just want the bigger number, you know?
Well, they made it black and they added a terabyte of storage, and it's $50 more.
Yeah, I think that's kind of necessary because it's all, you don't get a disk drive, so you kind of need to download everything.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sure. I don't like the S.
I like it. I mean, you know, if you don't have 4K, 1440p is just fine, and it's cheap, and it plays all of the same stuff. That's so I think it's like a great value.
I think at that point though, when it's $350, you're $150 off of just getting the full thing.
You're getting close, but I will say this original Series S is on sale all of the time.
Okay.
I think this will be $300 very quickly.
Well, that is a good price. You're saving $200, which is nothing to be sneezed at. I think there is, and
it's tiny and cute.
It is tiny and cute. I just think there's in the long run room to be saved by spending more on having a disk drive, because you can start grabbing games for like $10, $20 on sale, and then really add to your library quickly. But you do have Game Pass, which is free.
Yeah, it's for the Game Pass. It's a Xbox trying to give you a Game Pass machine.
I get it. I see it. All right, that's it. Finally, good lord. What did you think of the last several days of video game announcements? Did you get much out of it? You have a good time? You excited? You happy?
You talking to the chat or me?
No, you. Well, in chat, but you.
I wasn't that as excited as I normally am for traditional E3 because, like you said, it kind of felt like fragmented. Also, I think just if Sony had their announcement this week, it would have been a little more exciting. But yeah, it seemed like not a lot of people showed up. Like Nintendo didn't at all. Xbox, I think, was fine. They had a decent showcase. Capcom and Ubisoft just shouldn't have done anything. Capcom especially.
Yeah. We'll talk about that, but yeah.
Yeah.
If people like Square Enix and a lot of the other publishers that usually do events didn't show up, I don't think Capcom had to either. I think they could have skipped it.
Yeah, it was weird. But yeah, we'll get into it. But yeah, there's some things that I'm definitely interested in. I think it was a good showing overall.
Yeah, I love games, man. I know I'm obviously a Nintendo fanboy, just like
you
yourself
do?
in many regards. But yeah, I love all games. I feel like I try and stress this a lot, but I find fun and joy in all random places. Like, I got to tell you, one of my most excited games now is Warhammer 40K, just because I get to play that with my friends and shoot some things mindlessly while we reminisce and catch up, you know? So I find fun in weird places, and there was a lot of weird places here like that, and then and Monkey Island in Sea of Thieves, and then a lot of not so weird places like Starfield or the new Star Wars game. You know, so yeah, I was satisfied. I mean, I didn't really even expect anything. So we just need Nintendo to do something now.
Yeah. Yeah, there's my standouts were the Star Wars Ubisoft game. I like Starfield a little more now. Prince of Persia I'm interested in. Sonic.
Yeah, that was a standout. I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I want to see if I had any standouts. What was my standout?
Around the same stuff.
Alan Wake 2, that was a standout.
Everybody 1-2 Switch. What if that was supposed to be in a direct?
Yakuza in California. What if that was supposed to be in a direct?
Yeah. Hear about our theories in the bonus episode.
Persona 5 Tactics game. We kind of skipped that. But all right.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I'm not too excited. It kind of looked a bit bland. Sorry. That's everything. We are going to talk about Ubisoft and Capcom in our bonus episode now, just purely because we are out of time. We don't want to try and lock that conversation behind a paywall, but we've gone half an hour overtime here. So love you guys so much. Thanks for being here, watching us live. We'll have an episode next week, as always. If you're listening to the audio, make sure to give it 5 stars and leave a little comment.
Give us 5 stars.
And if you're watching the video, make sure to slap a like and a comment down below. If you were in the live chat, you're not only awesome, but you're incredible. But also, go into the comment section and leave an actual comment too about the episode. We'd appreciate it. Finally, Xander had a dono here. Sega is rebranding Yakuza in the West with the original title. And there you go. That's all you need to know. Love you guys. See you in the bonus. See you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.